All right, today we're jumping into a really interesting idea called the Ghost Millionaire Protocol. It's this powerful philosophy all about attracting wealth and success by, well, becoming the person who deserves it before any of the money actually shows up. So let's start with a puzzle that kind of gets to the heart of everything we're talking about. We've all heard the wild stories, right? Someone wins millions of dollars and then just a few years later, they're completely broke. I mean, how on earth does that even happen? The answer tells us pretty much everything we need to know.
And here it is. This is the core principle. Just think about it like this. Your outside world, your bank account, your career, it's just a mirror of your inside world, your personal development. If you get a huge windfall of cash but you haven't grown into a person who can handle it, it's like life has this weird magnetic pull that just yanks that money right back down to the level of who you are.
So this completely reframes the entire game. The goal isn't to run around chasing money. The real key is to work on yourself, to become the kind of person with the habits, the mindset, the skills that just naturally attract success and opportunity. You become the magnet.
Okay, so how do we actually make that switch from chasing to attracting? Well, it all starts with what our source material calls the Ghost Millionaire mindset. This is the playbook for becoming the person success is looking for.
This one sentence just captures the idea perfectly, doesn't it? The $1 million isn't the prize, it's the test. You have to scramble to become the person who can manage and grow that money. Otherwise, poof, it's going to disappear, just like it does for those lottery winners.
And that's the protocol in a nutshell. It's about building the internal framework first. You basically build the container for the wealth before it gets poured in. You start thinking, acting, and learning like the person you want to become, so when that opportunity finally shows up, you're not surprised, you're ready. And just look at the contrast here. The pursuer is all about the external stuff, chasing, getting, quick wins. But the attractor? They're focused inward, on becoming, on building a solid foundation. And this last one is huge. The pursuer worries about not having enough money. The attractor knows the real problem is never a lack of money, it's a lack of good ideas.
So, where do we start with building this new identity? Well, the first step is all about getting the blueprint. And here's the spoiler. It's not about raising capital. It's all about gathering ideas.
You know, our source material argues that your biggest limitation isn't your bank balance. It's the library of ideas in your head.
With one great idea, everything can change. So your first job is to become an absolute idea-gathering machine.
And luckily, we get a pretty straightforward 3-step roadmap for doing exactly that. To fill our minds with these game-changing ideas, let's break them down.
Okay, number one, and maybe the most accessible for all of us, is to read, to become self-educated. Just think of the leverage here. You can download decades of someone's life experiences, all their mistakes, their breakthroughs, in just a few hours. A formal education can get you a job, sure, but self-education can build you a fortune.
And the key is just consistency. Just 30 minutes a day studying the things you want to get good at. And this point right here, one book can save you 5 years. Wow. I mean, think about that. 5 years of trial and error wiped out by one good idea. That's why you have to be a student, not just a follower.
Okay, next up, listen. You have to put yourself in environments where success is the native language. You just can't get fluent if you never hear it spoken. You've got to get around people who are already where you want to be and just soak it all in.
And this is just a brilliant, counterintuitive way of thinking about it. Most people think, why would I spend my money on them? The mindset shift here is to ask, what is one idea from this person worth to me?
Let's just break down the return on investment here. You spend, say, $100 on dinner. For that, you get 2 hours of focused conversation with someone who's already done what you're trying to do. One single idea from that chat could be worth thousands, tens of thousands, maybe more. That's not an expense. That's one of the best investments you could ever make.
All right, the third method is to become a detective. You have to learn to observe what successful people actually do, not just what they say they do. Pay close attention, because success isn't random. It follows a recipe, and it leaves clues all over the place for anyone who's looking.
And this is the critical distinction. Anyone can have sight. We can all see the fancy car, the nice house, the results. That's just seeing with your eyes. But the goal is to develop insight. That's seeing with your mind. It's when you start to see the habits, the systems, the discipline behind the results. That's when you stop just seeing things and you start seeing answers. Okay, so you're gathering all these brilliant ideas. Now what? Well, a library full of ideas is totally useless if you don't act on them.
And the bridge between your ideas and actually making things happen in the real world, that bridge is discipline.
Now here's another one of those powerful mindset flips. Don't just get excited about the fancy goal at the end. Get excited about the fact that you're building the ability to make yourself do the work, day in and day out, especially when you don't want to. That's the real superpower.
And you don't build this discipline muscle by trying to lift a car on day one. Nope. You build it by winning tiny battles, consistently. Read for those 30 minutes. Write down that one idea. Don't buy that coffee you don't need. Every time you get these small things right, you're building the strength you'll need for the big fights later on.
This is such a critical point. Knowledge is only potential power. Action is what makes it real. We all know people who are walking encyclopedias but are totally broke. Why? Because they know everything, but they do nothing. Applying just one good idea is what actually creates wealth.
And that brings us to the final, and really the most important takeaway from this whole philosophy. After all the reading and listening and observing, it all comes down to one thing.
This is a pretty sobering thought, but it's also incredibly empowering. If you don't change anything, well then nothing is going to change. Your future will just be a repeat of your past. But the amazing thing is, you have the power to break that cycle. Right now. The choice is always yours.
So that's what this all boils down to, really. It's choice time. What are you going to do tomorrow, that one small thing that will start to make a difference? Will you read for 30 minutes? Will you finally reach out and offer to buy that dinner? The choice and the future it's going to create is all yours.